Adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. It's a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives.
My name is Trevor, and I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Each week, we try to prove that just because you became a dad
Does not mean it's game over.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have not seen a man rip away his gaming recommendation faster than what just happened this week with Jeff and Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. To get some backup, I had removed all of the social apps from my phone. Not super anti-social media or something like that, but just was spending too much time. So phone focused on work and, if anything, gaming. And I was looking for games to play. Jeff said, call it like at noon, had said something to the effect of, hey, why don't you check out Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis? And then, Jeff, what happened?
And then, what? Was it 5 minutes later?
Not
I
even.
said, no, abort. Don't do
Abort.
it. Don't
Delete.
install this.
Delete it. Don't delete it. You didn't download it yet. Did you delete it?
I didn't say any of this. Let me retrieve that message. You never happened. Nothing ever happened.
So it was, it had just relaunched. Jeff and I, big buffs of Final Fantasy VII. Hey, this could be fun, especially on the phone. So what did happen? What happened with the game that just immediately set off like alerts for you?
Yeah, like this was one I was pretty pumped for. Like the graphics are great. The story was filling in some gaps that maybe we haven't seen before in Final Fantasy VII. So, and like you said, like we're both big fans. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, right? So I booted it up, and like right away you're hit with a screen of like, yeah, we downloaded this game, but really we need 4 more gigs of it.
Yeah,
so you have to wait until it populates through, and it's an always online game. Obviously, it connects to servers or whatever. So when you sit through that, and then at this point, I've got a pretty old phone, so I don't know what it would work on your phone, but like my phone was like hot to the touch. Like it's on fire at this point, right? But I get to the menu, I'm like, okay, cool. Like again, looks really clean. Everything looks like really tight. Go into the story and you do this little intro battle. I'm like, all right. And then as soon as that ends, so like a minute after that, you're hit with like 16 microtransactions. Like there's like this thing, and then there's like weapon of the day, and then there's this loot box you can buy, and then there's like memory kits. I'm like, what? Like Cloud's memories that you can purchase and buy with in-game currency. And you know when the in-game currency isn't just one, it's multiple in-game currencies. That's when you know
That's tricky.
it's not going to work. So I immediately I played it for a little bit longer, but did message you and said, don't bother, don't ruin your phone.
So is it, now we're watching a stream of this as we're chatting, and it, okay, never mind. I retract my statement. So,
Look how fast that was.
because we were watching what seemed to be a very classic Final Fantasy VII cutscene, as far as just kind of blocky style characters talking, overlays, but the story was classically, as with the series, very interesting. This is cool. And they're fighting and things like that, and then they're going through another menu that was like, okay, missions and story levels, and okay, well, maybe the story part of it would be isolated from all the nonsense of monetization. But then the very next screen me and Jeff saw on screen while talking was, and here's your leveling tree, and here's how you get your money gems and your cross level up diamonds and your summon
Shinra
cards.
bucks. Get your Shinra bucks.
Yeah. That disappointing. I get it. They're trying to make a buck and everybody's doing it, but you got to wonder who is doing this? Is this any of the original creators of Final Fantasy or any of the artistic directors, or is this just the company, the corporation that owns the gaming company, trying to wring out a couple bucks for the property?
I mean, yeah, that's a good call, because I'm wondering if like Nomura is involved. Like, well, if he is involved, there would be a lot of branching story paths here. But I don't know if the original creators are involved. But it definitely seems corporate-y. Like, let's take this brand that everyone loves and see how much money we can squeeze out of it, knowing that they're gonna hang that those story elements over your head, saying, okay, listen, like, you know about these things, but we've slightly changed them, and now you get uniforms and costumes and different weapons and stuff that you can actually, that's a little bit different from that last game, right? But it doesn't sit right with me. It's just one of those things where I wouldn't mind paying once for this kind of mobile game and just be done with it. Like, okay, you put it out at Square Enix prices, which are probably like $20-$30. They did that for the Pixel remasters, right? Pay an upfront AAA price fee and be done. And then maybe you have me. But like you said, you're hit with all those menus and the upgrade trees and stuff that takes a grind to do. It's not rewarding you. It's just you have to grind to get those rewards, which is like flipped. And I don't have the time for that as a gaming dad. I can't do it. Even on the go, I cannot put in the time.
It feels like I don't know why. Perhaps it's just unprofitable. So like we can sit here and lament, but at the end of the day, this is how they make money. All right, it is what it is. Because I just wonder, could they not either charge for a game and then have the after end game, like the post game, like the new game plus whatever, be the grindy, gem based, money driven kind of nonsense? Would they, or is there no way to separate the two? Possibly. Like maybe I'm just being a bit idealistic because I'm trying to say, please give us some of these story elements, because one of the things you had mentioned before we started was that apparently they might introduce Cloud's father in this game, which would be a brand new arc, a brand new story. Anybody who enjoys Final Fantasy VII, be it yourself, be it your kids, or anyone else, like, you would want to know about this. And the thought that it is trapped within a gotcha money-driven game like this is horrendous for the series, right?
Yeah, I think it kind of, it's a detriment to fans, right? Where I would have gladly paid to get those story elements to kind of continue that arc into the next Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and beyond, right? So they have introduced characters along the way that are almost, like, they're literally paywalled behind this game, where you need to figure them out and understand them for later on story elements. So it's not, I don't know. Again, it doesn't sit well with me. It looks gorgeous. Like, it is a fantastic looking game. It's just, it's littered with a lot of stuff. Like, even the menu we're looking at now, maybe it's the old age talking, but I was overwhelmed. Like, I was like almost physically ill with the amount of menus that it presents at you, and you icons everywhere. Everything's an icon, and I don't know what to do. So I didn't want to make the mistake or even just invest the time. I don't know about you. Like, I don't know if you would invest the time in this. Like, there's still hope for you. You haven't deleted it, right? Or
it was gone. I did not.
Oh, it was gone. Okay.
So with the panicked message you sent, expletives, exclamation marks, characters I'd never seen before, like, good God, get rid of this game. You thought I was going to keep it? Like,
I don't know. You'd be like, I don't know, Jeff. Was it one of those times where you just didn't like it and I want to try it for myself? I don't know.
No, I recognize it right away. It was going to be, as you said, it's like 16 different currencies, 20 different game modes, crafting items for every single one. I had no time for this. Like, this was going to be a massive time or money sink or both, and just didn't have any desire to sully my memories of Final Fantasy along with it. I am curious, like, if given to your child or mine, if they would gravitate towards it, if they would understand it right away, and I love this. This is exactly what I adore, because it's all these things. Are we aging ourselves out of this a little bit? Is our initial, forget like the money part. Let's say that you can't. It's enough of a free to play. They did free to play right, so it's actually fun. Let's say that maybe that's true.
Okay.
If that was the case, the game I believe is too much for you and myself. Menus,
I think so.
Menus, arcs, craftables, currencies, can't understand it. Is that age? Or if it gave it to your kid, do you think they would like dive in?
I think my kids would dive in. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they can memorize every Minecraft recipe and like all these elements of other games and how they make up something new. Terraria was a big one. Like, they did all that without guides and understood everything. And I think in this game, they would immediately figure it out and know how to probably maximize their experience points and their currencies, right? I think it's something that they would absolutely pick up and play. Again, in the state that it's in, I'm not sure I would give it to them. But if it was like a free to play hey, we're not going to like plunk down a credit card charge on all these things, my kids, I think, would stick with it, especially my 10-year-old who is big into Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, I can't. That's challenging because I'd almost want to run the experiment, except except the problem would be that if your kids really get into it, and the next thing you know, all of their birthdays and all their Christmas is just, chocobo bucks or some other nonsense.
That's right.
I can't cast that curse on your household. So
Good call.
yeah, it's scary. I sometimes want to admit my age. And so thinking of some of these things like, this game is terrible, look at this UI. And it's, now slow down, old man. It's fine.
Yeah.
You just don't. You know how the older people you work with have no idea how to work with a PDF?
Right.
This is your generation's PDF, basically.
Oh no, what's happening?
Okay, this is a totally normal, reasonable gameplay experience for folks. But hey, gaming dads, have you given a game that you thought was crazy and your kids immediately understood it? Have you had good experiences to counter our poor reception of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis? Right into the show at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. Now onto a game, a blast from the past, and one that you immediately understood, and you got the joke and the idea, and had apparently a blast with. You saw the launch of F-Zero 99.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't understand what this is, it is Nintendo put out a classic game like they've done before. They've done it with Tetris and I think a Mario game. But then they link you up with 99 online players and they let you go wild. So
you go hog wild.
You go hog wild. And F-Zero, if you ever played it back in the day, these were one of the staples of Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It was pretty difficult. Like you would lose energy on your car, smashing into the walls and stuff. And it really trained you for like something like Rainbow Road and Mario Kart later on. But now picture that with 98 other players. And just understand the chaos. And it's not even just 98 other players. Like the computer drops in more, like those like drone cars to kind of like make obstacles that are moving on the courses. But like you said at the top, F-Zero is a super nostalgia trip. So they have the same music. The graphics are, a little bit better, but they're not, right? They're still pixel graphics. The same vibe. It's very minimal. There's no other menus. It's just like into the game. Here's your training. And then once you're done your training, you are online with other people playing with 98 others trying to race for your life to get to first place.
So it's F-Zero Royale. Basically where you're trying to be the top of the heap. I'm seeing as we're watching some of the gameplay, it's talking like some people are getting dropped off because they're just too low. They can't possibly come back.
Yeah.
And I'll say like one of the greatest obstacles in F-Zero was always the graphics. And that's not a knock. I just mean like it was so hard to time it because the 3D was like fake 3D, like old Doom style. Everything's
Mode
flat.
7 or whatever it is. Yeah.
So it's really hard to time some things with the visuals of it. If you do see, like, I really implore anyone listening who's even have half a passing interest to check out some gameplay of F-Zero 99 because it seems just bonkers. But it was fun. Like you had a good time with this one.
It's fun. It's quick. You can pick up and play. And it's like, from what I've seen, there's just 4 laps. Like it's a 4-lap race. They go by in maybe a couple minutes and you're done. And then you're either on to the next race or you're kicked out or you earn ranks. So the ranks get you entrances into like Grand Prix that run all the time. But really you can just stick with the regular 99 players of whatever random race. Get in, get out, have a little fun, and then just be done and put it down. And you do need to be online, obviously, for it to work and have Nintendo online. So that might be an added barrier or cost to it. But really, if you do have those things, you owe it to yourself to give it a try because it is fun. It looks ridiculous. It looks like chaos and not fun at all. But once you get in there and you feel the music and you still have those same elements, and they've even done like a risk reward, like you can boost to use some of your power to boost, but then like you run the risk of getting knocked out, right? So it's a really fun game, easy to pick up and play, and to give to your kids. I give it to my kids; they love it.
Like, folks, you have to go watch some of this. Like, it looks like someone had took the ROM and hacked it to be an online multiplayer game because it just seems so ludicrous to see 99 of these space cars flying around in these graphics. That's so funny. I like this. I like this angle in that it's a nostalgia property find. The cynical version would have been, hey, here's the old F-Zero maps we had. Pay us like $50.
Pay Nintendo price. Yeah.
And then like also be online if you want to do online player. But instead, like it's this funny, funky twist where it's great for old guys who kind of played it back in the day. Like, I remember this game. This is hilarious. New twist on it. Cool for newer players. I don't know if your kids got into it at all. With like when they were playing the game.
They were laughing like crazy. Just the amount of people they were blowing up themselves. So it works.
That is so cool. I'm trying to remember the exact status of my Nintendo subscription. I might still have one.
Oh, okay.
So if I have it, we'll see about bringing it in, because I'd be curious. For myself, I'm not super bullish. I think I'd like to try it. It looks hilarious, but I want to see my kids play it, because I think they're going to be. I think they're going to find that hilarious.
Yeah.
So hey, everyone, check it out. F-Zero 99. Now, tip from myself.
Okay.
And this is how gaming dads listening can be the hero of their household, potentially. So if your child plays Roblox, which if you have a child and they play video games is a fairly big Venn diagram.
That's right. You're right. Yes.
It's sweeping the nation. But what I've discovered is, but if you know this, be gentle on me. I just found this out. So it seems that at least monthly, if not every like kind of 2 or 3 weeks, that the internet will scour all the available codes and bring them onto various lists. So you can do a quick Google search for a free Roblox code September, or like October, like put in your month. And then listed in these articles will be anywhere from 5 to like 15 to 20 free codes for free stuff within Roblox. And this can, on the smaller side, it can be, get free plays on a game. That's not as great, because I don't want them to have a game of something that maybe then they have to pay to play a second time. More interesting though is like when it's like skins. Okay, here's a skin, here's a crab for your shoulder, here's like a magical sword backpack, whatever.
Yeah.
I was such the hero, Jeff. Like, because I was going through and we found these like 5 or 6. I was able to get them like 5 or 6 things to add into their wardrobe of Roblox.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they were just beside themselves, like, this is fantastic. This is awesome. I made the somewhat miscalculation of not redeeming them all immediately, thinking, okay, next weekend we'll do this. This will be kind of like a weekly thing. Well, every week it's like Hero Dad will show up to get you a few more codes. And at that time, the rest of them had run out. So and then they were just gone. So it's like, hey, do we have any more codes? It's like, we do not.
No, that's interesting. I didn't know about these codes. Look at you. Okay. Yeah.
Now you do have to. This is another. Listeners of the show might remember we had previously another gaming dad write in talking about their good Roblox support experience. I can vouch for that now myself, because my kids had signed up through Android and they went on Xbox. Okay. And that's how their accounts were created. So they never officially had a Roblox code. To redeem a code, you do need to access it through the browser. So you need their account. But they didn't have an account because it was just set up through Xbox. So I didn't have the username. So I was able to write in, though, and said, hey, here's what happened. This is my kid's username. Can we please get him associated with this email address? And an email address I have for him. Like a day later, probably less than a day later. Hey, sir, no problem at all. Like, here you go. Like, here's the access code to it. Like, God bless. Like, away you go.
Right.
And I had access. I was able to point out like 4 or 5 different things of like, this is my account. I preemptively like did it. So it's not like it's a secret hack version exposed. But I was impressed. Like within a day, I thought I'd heard nothing. If I had to be honest, like the size and scale of these folks, I imagined there's no way they're gonna get to little old me to solve my blunder with emails. But there it was, and then I was able to log into both accounts online for my kids and be the man, be the hero.
I am surprised with their customer service. I've had that in the past where my kid had a little screw up with their password and we had to reset it, and then there's no recovery. And they were prompt. Man, and like you said, like this Roblox is a huge game. They've got millions of players.
Mm-hmm.
So to look at somebody that has an account that spends $0, do you know what I mean? And provide them the service that same day is nuts to me. Like that, okay, all right. At least you got that part down.
Yeah, I don't have to like it. I can respect it though.
Yeah.
Even the games, I'll tell you this, like just seeing them play it, I don't like the garbage that's in there, but I can at least see some of the things in there and see that, you know what, this is fun. It looks like the person who put this together has tried to actually like put something together. There's a lot of people and they're having fun, and this is the flavor. This week they get to do a flying sim, and then next week it'll be like a fist fight, and then it'll be an anime battle, then it's going to be a Godzilla brand. Like the variety and everything else, like it's a sort of thing where I don't like it,
Right.
but I can respect it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and just just to piggyback on that, we're watching basically a Counter-Strike ripoff. I'm just putting that out there that they've like all the mechanics. I'm pretty sure this map exists and it's been recreated in.
No. That say it correctly. Stolen.
It's been lifted. Yeah, it's been stolen.
I guarantee you that the textures we're seeing came from Counter-Strike, and somebody somehow imported it because the audacity of the IP theft in this game is unparalleled.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how they do it. I don't know how they exist on Microsoft. I don't know how they're going to exist on PlayStation. That was just announced. So my kids are raring to go with the PS4 and PS5. I don't know how it works, but they have great customer service. We'll give them that.
Yeah. Anyways, just quick tip for the gaming dads. If you want to get your kids a quick couple of items, you can probably score some by a quick Google search, find a list, get them into their accounts, and be the hero for a day.
Woo.
That's right. Now, unfortunately, on some sadder style news, it sounds like some friendships might have taken a hit thanks to ye old video games.
Yeah, so the way I positioned this to Trevor was gaming friendships ruined, and Trevor's probably wondering like, what?
I'm very curious.
So my kids, again, have entered school. It's September, and of course, with the new school year comes new classrooms, and some friends are not in the said classroom. So my 10-year-old used to game with another friend with TD Bloons 6. They would play this all the time, and I think on our show they even looped me in at one point. And really, it was just pushed to this friend, right? You can play this game with your friend. Daddy's not interested in it. I will play something else with you. So this friend is not in the classroom, and I think it's grade 5. So when that happens, that relationship kind of pulls apart a little bit. I think the classrooms really hold them together. Recess can connect, whatever. But anyway, they've drifted apart a little bit as of now. It's still only 3 weeks in, but they drifted apart so much that they don't play this game together. They don't meet up to play this game. The other friend has made different friends. I don't know if he's like playing this game with other friends or not, or if this was the game together. But it has left my 10-year-old kind of with like that emptiness of like, who do I play this with now? And they are bugging, the 13-year-old, like, hey, can you play this? And the 13-year-old's kind of like done with it, right? Like once they have figured out, they're like, yeah, no.
So the game wasn't the catalyst for the break. It was more the victim of it, if anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the game was what got between them. It's more something got in between them, and one of the sad outputs of it was this game was no longer going to be played.
Right. Yes. So this is one of those casualties of the classrooms being mixed up, and they're not in touch anymore.
Yeah, we had some of that. Now, nothing with gaming related, but my son, he went into grade, man, I should be able to pull this off the top of my head, 3. He's in grade 3. And in so doing, like previously they had a good little group. There was like a good 5 of them, little posse, right? Group of friends. It was great. Had them over birthdays, like wonderful. And he got none of them in the new year. He's like the one man out. It's like, I think one of the posse was with him, and everyone else is just gone.
Okay.
And I'll say as watching as a dad, like that's really difficult. Like him having friends is by far the most pressing thing as far as I'm concerned. Like I really want him to have a baseline of friends to help guide him through life, like good guys.
Yeah.
And to see them just like get ripped apart because of just like classroom zoning type stuff is like, oh, like it ruins you inside.
It's tough, and it's tough on your kid and to adapt to that, right? And come back from that. But I'm sure he'll persevere, but it's one of those things that can affect a bunch of things.
Yeah. So we try to set up some play dates and just like times to be able to like still get together, and we'll see how it lands. It'll be good a little bit from flexibility standpoint. It's like, look, you can't go into every scenario with the exact group of people you need. So ideally, make the best of it. Make new friends, maintain the old ones. Play some. It's
kind of like Final Fantasy VII, where you switch out your party members after leveling up and grinding for a while. So.
Hot tip: don't level Aerith.
That is right. Yes.
Now, the party members, great transition into D&D, and it seems like, just as described to me, you've gone and your household has gone full blown D&D madness. So, and to set it up, I believe, like you had introduced. It seemed that in your household, your kids were interested in playing D&D for the first time.
Yeah, my 13-year-old was interested. Saw it kind of in a bookstore actually, with the D&D like Essentials kit and the starter kit, and then later on, stuck in their mind, and they ended up spending a gift card buying it. So they wanted to start it up. I was supportive. I don't know anything about D&D, so it was a little bit of homework for me. They were to read the rule book and get all our characters set up, and that was kind of happening, but it was at a slow pace because, Dad's busy. Dad's got work. Weekends are busy. And so my 13-year-old just advises me one day, like Friday night, oh yeah, by the way, 4 friends are coming over at 7:00, and we're going to create all our characters in D&D, and we're going to set it all up, and it's going to be ready to go.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a lot.
We need a little heads up. That was part of the conversation. Like you can't just, that. It's a little bit intrusive that way, but we do want to support what you want to do, right? It just takes a little planning, and much like the game, you just need to plan out where is this going to happen. So all these friends show up, and they're literally out there for 2.5 hours, laughing, having a blast, creating their characters, figuring out the...
That's so cool.
Yeah, figuring out the characters, like pastimes, like all that stuff you have to create yourself, right?
And then between knitting... He lets me go down for a tea.
Yeah. It's just it was a lot. It was great to see, but it does, like, they don't know how to play either. So everyone's kind of learning together. And then my 13-year-old was kind of coming to me saying, okay, well, this rule doesn't make sense, or where does this fit in? And I don't know. So I have to do my homework. I'm going on YouTube videos and watching Critical Role and doing all these things to try and understand the game. Once it gets going, I hear it's fine. Like, it's just, they throw a lot at you at one time, and you kind of have to research what the best way is to go. But yeah, it was just a lot at once. And again, my 13-year-old wants to make it a weekly thing, even wants to make a D&D group at school.
Wow.
With a group of friends.
Oh, so, that really rolled
0 to 60.
Yeah, that rolled the D20 real fast on that initiative.
Wow, there you go. Perfect.
Man, that's fascinating. So who's the DM? Like, who's the actual...
My 13-year-old is the DM because why not? But
as best I understand, like, that's a fairly heavy burden to carry. Like, that's a very big responsibility to make sure everyone has a good time and they don't get crazy leveled. Or now, is that something the book does? Because I'm as new, if not newer than you, to the whole thing, despite wanting to play. And does the book just tell him, it's like, hey, just read this, you'll be fine?
It gives you this scenario outline, so it will guide you more so than some of the other books. You still do have to create those, those creative moments, right? Are there windows? Do you need a sneak check? Do you need to go through a trap or whatever? But he's drawing on from his experience with that Google game he created, where all his friends were in on it, and it was a big RPG, and he everybody was having a blast. So that's what he's drawing on. Like, okay, I can be DM now, and guide my friends in this game. I'm like, okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of responsibility, and you kind of have to know what you're doing.
There's gotta be like some. It's gotta be some pride for you, isn't there? Like this is.
It's great.
It's like he is the ringmaster. He's brought them in. He's gonna be the creative puppet master, like pulling strings behind the scenes.
I do admire how much of a safe environment we've created. Not to give myself a pat on the back, but like
we here at this household have done so well in parenting. You see,
I will give props where props are due, but like this is just something he can fully dork out, right? Like, he doesn't feel any shame. He's connected with his friends that want to do the same thing. Even so, to bring it into a public forum like a school, I would be mortified as a kid. I would not even touch this. I didn't even want to touch Magic the Gathering when it came out.
Yeah, that was me during high school.
I know.
So.
You're at that table.
Yeah, you're like, like those dweebs that played Magic at lunch. Like, hey. Wait a minute.
Yeah. No, so like I am very happy for him. I'm glad. Admire his confidence to take this on. And we'll see where it goes. I'll keep everyone kind of up to date on what happens.
That's awesome. I think that's a fantastic story. I just like especially from what we've seen from your kids around their creativity and tenacity for building mechanics and systems and other items. You know, the fact that they would put together a Gundam and then also play like an RPG, like a Final Fantasy. It seems like there's a lot of combination of a lot of, again, a Venn diagram of creativity plus willingness to sit and like learn and study. So that's fantastic. I'd be really enthused to see my kids grabbing into this game such like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you know, and when your kids are into it, hopefully I'll be an expert and can like lead you through a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah, we'll see. My kids will just admonish me like, "Yeah, nice try, nerd." We're gonna go play sports. Aw. You want to roll 20 with the old man?
No, yeah. Just the dice rolls by itself across the table.
I got you a green mana magic deck. You want to come play? We'll see what we get. Hey, playing these nerdy things with the kids are the entire purpose of the show and makes for a wonderful place to wrap it up there for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you like the show, you can find us on all the major podcast networks. You can find us on Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, Caster, anywhere where you get your podcasts. Just search for New Dad Gaming. Do you have any comments on the show? Are your kids into Dungeons and Dragons? There was a fantastic clip recently making around on social. Should have added this to the story, but a wife had caught the father running a D&D session with his it was like a 6 and 8 year old girl, and they're just, it's like, well, and then there's a rat. I jump over the rat. Oh, to jump over the rat. The three of them are having the most adorable time. Is that something that you guys do at home? We'd love to hear from you. Reach on out to the show, or if you're going to play Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, F-Zero 99, any of the above. Actually, hey, do you have any other tips about Roblox code?
Yeah.
I'm starting to run out. So listen, interacting with the fans has been one of the best parts about this podcast recently. So find us on Twitter at NewDadGaming or through our website, newdadgaming.com. Otherwise, everyone, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you again next week. And until then, my name is Trevor, and I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old.
And just remember, just because you rolled a D1...
Oh, does not mean it's game over, but it does.
Yeah, but it kind of does.
It does, yeah.
See you next week.
See you later.